The Smith & Wesson 1911 E-Class series, new for 2011. What I want to do in the beginning of this video is just look at the beauty of this firearm. Is this the sexiest 1911 on the planet? That's up to you to decide. It's way up there. It is gorgeous. We're going to take it to the range. We're going to shoot it. We're going to talk about it in this review. The first thing I want to do, like I said, is just look at both sides. Let's zoom in real close and get some really good high-def images of it. Just look at those laminated grips, the trademark E-Class, the rounded butt, and oh my gosh, the fish scales on it are just absolutely beautiful. Everything that Smith did to this firearm is first class. It's pricey, we'll talk about that, but if you're in the market for a 1911, this could be you. Right now we're just going to look at it, savor it. If you want to drool, that's okay. 4 1/4 inches, less than 30 ounces. You got to think about that and compare it to other 1911s that are 4 1/4 inches that weigh a lot more. And we're going to go to the range, like I said, and look at the recoil of this firearm here in a moment. Just absolutely gorgeous. Let's look at the other side. Here's an incredible look at the other side. This gun is absolutely gorgeous. We're going to go to the range, like I said. We're going to shoot it. And I got to tell you, if you're in the market for a 1911 and you want a sexy looking 1911 that's lightweight, not much recoil, if any at all, this is right up your alley. It's absolutely beautiful and very well thought out. The engineering that went into this firearm is absolutely second to none. Smith & Wesson really jumped into the 1911 class full-blown, and they're right up there with all the other top manufacturers. Let me zoom in real close and just look at the beauty of it. That's as close as I can get. The grips, laminated wood, rounded butt. I'm going to have a seat now. My wife's going to take the camera. We're going to go to the range. We're going to shoot it a little bit. We'll talk about it some more. If you're in the market for a 1911, this could be you. This could be you. Like I said, if you're in the market for a 1911, this could be your flavor. It's important that we go to the range. My wife shot a couple of rounds through it. I fired some rounds through it, and we'll talk about that. So let's go to the range, and welcome to weaponseducation.com. She's got the Smith & Wesson E-Class 1911 45 ACP. Let's look at the recoil. She's shooting at the bottom right. Okay. Not bad. Yeah, she got that one right in there. The flames coming out of the 45. Empty. You zoom in. It's a good shot. That was the bottom right, 45 ACP. Shoot it one more time. go home and talk about the Smith & Wesson 1911 E-Class. There's a lot I want to talk about with this firearm. It's only the second time I ever shot it, first time on film, and I like it a lot. I have to work on my action a little bit, but it's the size of a fist. That's from a previous video I did on a 5. You can see the difference in the size of the cartridge holes. But there's the 45 ACP 1911. Let's go home and talk about that beautiful firearm. We just watched a short video clip of my wife and I firing this firearm, and we're going to talk about it here in a moment. Let's take a look at the target, and here we have it. This up here was the FN57. Look at the small bullets, how small they are. But down here is the 45 ACP 1911 Smith & Wesson E-Class. I got to tell you, this gun is accurate. It's fun to shoot. I got the size of my fist. I'm happy with it. And I don't claim to be a marksman by no means. I claim to be a hobbyist. But I tell you, if a bad guy comes at me, I'm happy with being able to hit him right through the nostrils. Give you some specs on the firearm. Barrel length, 4 1/4 inches. Sights, here we go. You see that? Tritium night sights. They spared no expense on the firearm. It is pricey at $1,369 retail. I didn't pay that, but I didn't pay too much less than that. They're pricey, but they're well worth it. Overall length is right at 8 inches. The weight is extremely light at 29.6 ounces. To give you a comparison, this 3-inch Kimber, which I love and adore, and by the way, just compare the two as far as sexiness. This 3-inch Kimber compared to this 4 1/4 inch Smith & Wesson E-Class, you got to admit, the Smith really has the beautification factor down pat. The weight of the Kimber is 25 ounces on the 3-inch. The weight of the Smith is just over 29 ounces. Very light. Did you notice in the video that the recoil on this is pretty much nil? Let's talk about a couple of the things. Let's talk about, as I look at the firearm, the safety check gun. Let's talk about the extractor. It has an external extractor. Take a real nice close-up here, right here. And it's oversized, it's milled out. It has the rounded off butt, or bobtail as you might think of it as that. We know Ed Brown has the name bobtail trademarked. It has a precision trigger, as Smith calls it. In my opinion, it's a match grade trigger. Checkered serrations on the front strap, mainspring housing on the back, has vertical serrations, and even the top of the slide is serrated, which helps with glare. The slide itself is stainless bead blasted, very silky smooth, very similar to the SIG 1911, which I adore also. It's pretty hard to say which is your favorite firearm, but this ranks right up there in the 1911s, specifically because of the Scandium frame. Let's talk about the frame here now. If you're going to spend your hard-earned money, you need to know why this costs what it does, and I think one of the main reasons, besides of all the engineering, all the fish scaling that went into it, is the fact that it's lightweight, it has a scandium frame, the chemical element is symbol SC, in case you're curious and you're one of those scientific dudes. The atomic number is 21. Scandium is one of the rarest raw materials on the planet. It is only mined in a couple of places in the world, 2, maybe 3. It is used to make aluminum or alloys like hard as nails and on steroids and very light. They use it in fighter jets. That's 100% of a fact, and it wouldn't surprise me if it was used in the space shuttle. This is one heck of a firearm, and only Smith & Wesson uses scandium in their frames. They thought of everything. As I hold the firearm, please zoom in here. It has a notch under the trigger guard, which makes it nice and comfy. And now that I've fired it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, what I'll tell you about the reliability is this. I've had 0 malfunctions, and I've fired everything through it. PMC, Winchester, every type of ammunition you can think of, hollow point, full metal jacket. And I mixed and matched. And I really put it to a good little torture test. Zero malfunctions. You know, a lot of people say ammo is really important, which it is. So I put cheap ammo in it, and I put expensive ammo in it. I put expensive hollow points, and I put cheap ammo in it. It has never malfunctioned. In about, I don't know, 200, 300, 400 rounds, I didn't count. It's got a lot of rounds through it. It's really high end. Please give me your input on this firearm. I did a video on this in the past. Please go to my gun reviews. We really got a lot of good close-up looks at it. As you'll notice, it's got a full-length guide rod here, which helps with stability. Really sweet firearm. The trigger is skeletonized, serrated on the front here. What else can I tell you? The ambi safety, I love. It's long and thin right here. And I like having an ambi safety because what if your dominant hand is injured and you had to fire a lefty or vice versa? You have the safety on each side. Of course, you've got the beaver tail up here, you got a safety here, and the trigger is very light, 4 or 5 pounds, just absolutely perfect. Now that you've seen it at the range a little bit, let me know what you think. The recoil is minimal. My wife, what did you think? I mean, you went that day from a 380 to a 40 to this 45, then to a 10 millimeter, and you like this gun, right?
Excuse me. Yes, I think it wasn't that bad. I mean, it wasn't. There was a little small kick. Obviously, my hand's so much smaller than yours, but I mean, it's so beautiful that I enjoy shooting it compared to all the rest of them.
It's just like a Louis Vuitton of handbags.
It is. It's so pretty. I mean, even just watching it now, I'm noticing how beautiful it is. So, no, I love shooting it. We had a great time that day, and it wasn't bad at all.
I guess that's a good point. Is the fact that how pretty it is. I mean, you know, we can shoot just basic any old gun that just doesn't look like much, and it shoots just as good, but if it's really sexy looking like this, that helps, right?
Sure, it's fun to have it and fun to collect it and shoot it as well.
Yeah, I think this gun's going to go up in value over time. I don't know, I could be wrong. But it's really a highly recommended firearm. Let me know your thoughts. If you own this Smith & Wesson 1911 E-Class or one similar, please throw in your comments. Do you like it? Have you had malfunctions? We've had zero. I love the firearm. I highly recommend it. It's up there with my top choices with the Sig Sauer and all the Kimbers. Those are my favorite 1911s. The Colts, of course, are way up there. But I tell you, this is one sweet firearm, particularly the fact that it's less than 30 ounces at 4 1/4 inches on the barrel. I keep saying that. It's very light, very easy to conceal and carry. And I actually carried this for the first time the other day, and I enjoyed it all day. All right, check it out till next time. Thank you for your support.